Good evening, folks. This is your weekly wake-up call, and we really need you to pay attention to this one tonight. So without further ado, I'm turning this over to Dave.
Okay, this is brought to you via a Twitter meltdown this week. There were a lot of things going on Twitter this week, and I want everyone to know what this group is, what we are, what the Factivist Project is, and what we support and what we don't support. Someone who will remain nameless told me that if I supported a certain group, that I might as well just leave, that they're going to block me or whatever. And it was a group that, you know, supports moderate Democrats and not progressive Democrats. I've also seen a couple of people on Twitter using an algorithm. I understand the algorithm and I understand the system. There are people who want to get more influence, and they are posting provocative questions. There's a couple of things that we aren't. We aren't a group that just does things for the sake of clickbait or building our brand or being provocative or getting more people on our site or on our shows. We like it when more people watch our stuff because we think we produce quality content. As Deb always says, we're not Cecil B. DeMille, you could tell, but we research heavily the information that we provide and we give it to you so that you can take action. Okay, that's the second thing. We're not going to post questions simply for the sake of posting questions or being provocative. I saw a question that said something to the effect of, do you think Ashley Babbitt is a domestic terrorist? Ashley Babbitt is dead. She was killed. Okay? It is a purely provocative question meant to get hits. Next thing. We're not here to battle for progressive Democrats or for moderate Democrats. We are here to try to get those two groups together so that we can fight the real enemy, which is the right wing and fascism in the United States. One of the most dangerous people is Ron DeSantis. And we have to get all of our biases out of our head and work together to take care of this.
Can I just say something here?
Yeah.
The people out there on social media building this divide need to get the clue. Biden is working with the Bernie Sanders people. AOC is working with Hakeem Jeffries. The party is moving in the right direction. Okay? It's going to move, but the people out there dividing the Democrats that are voters, that's a fucking deadly mistake. We started the group 52 Won't Do because only 52% of registered Democrats voted in the midterms. Literally, we should have won the House and the Senate by a landslide in the midterms. I'm sorry, but in the face of what you're seeing out there, in the face of the GOP that is now owning the House, there were 147 GOP members who voted to overturn the election. Guess what? There are now 170 in the House.
Right.
All right. So all of this nonsense about I'm not voting for him because he's not progressive enough, or I'm going to just sit it out, that needs to stop. And all this division is being created by people who say, I'm sorry, you can't come into this group because you support Bernie Sanders and AOC, or vice versa. You can't come into this group because you support Joe Biden and Hakeem Jeffries. You know what? They're all working together. So it's about time we started doing that shit, okay?
Adam Frisch lost to Lauren Boebert by 600 votes, and it looks as though he could have won if some of the people who said, oh, he's not progressive enough, I'm just going to sit this one out, voted. Okay. Now you have Lauren Boebert.
Okay. Think about this, folks. Okay.
We lost House seats in New York because people didn't want more blue dog Democrats. Now you have Republicans in. Now you have a Republican majority. Okay. And you have AOC, who had in the past been looking to primary Hakeem Jeffries, working with Hakeem Jeffries, because that's what you do to fight the real enemy. Okay.
Let me suggest to you that what you want to look at is what they did in the state of Michigan, where the Democrats took control of every aspect of that state for the first time in 50 years, largely because of Gretchen Whitmer's leadership. Understand this, folks. She's doing on her side what Ron DeSantis is doing on his side, building a fascist state in Florida. You need to understand this, people. We all are in this, all us Democrats, we all need to be in this fight working together. This is not a drill, okay? It is not a drill.
We have Andy Bashir, who I just heard about in terms of his popularity. He has 61% popularity in Kentucky. We need to keep him in. He's a Democratic governor in Kentucky. Okay.
And that means with a 61% popularity, that means some Republicans like the way he's governing too. Get the clue.
So there is some room to use Twitter and to ask questions. I'm not saying that, but when you ask questions, there has to be a purpose for it. And there has to be to me, this is my opinion, that to ask a question, you then have to ask, what are we going to do about it? It can't just be, do you want Santos out of office? Hell yeah. Screw that guy, whatever.
How about this one? Retweet this if you want to see a woman's right to choose codified. Okay, well, what are you going to do about that? You think retweeting is going to make that happen? Right. You have to pick up your phone. You have to call your representatives. You have to push. This is the way this works, folks. You know what? Your representatives, aside from the GOP, because all they really do is tweet, all right? Your representatives aren't following their constituents on social media. They cannot do that. They don't have that time. All right? This is what people need to understand. For someone to say, retweet this if you want to see George Santos impeached, what do you think the chances of that are with MAGA control of the House, with a very slim majority? The chances of that happening are slim and none. It isn't going to happen.
What do you think I was doing right before the show? I was calling a couple of my contacts on Long Island to see if they knew if there is a potential candidate in place. If George Santos does eventually get impeached. These are the things you have to do. It just doesn't happen. Things just don't happen. Investigations just don't get closed. The other one, stop calling for Merrick Garland to be ousted or whatever. The other one, Ronnie Jackson and all the right wing, twidiots out there calling for the indictment of Fauci. Okay, look, we need to pay attention to a point and to call it out. We do, but to fight on Twitter all day, that's not what I'm here for. It really isn't.
By the way, is not going to be indicted. The Congress has no power to indict anyone. The J6 committee was an investigation arm, and the chances that these nitwits are going to find even a fraction of what the J6 committee uncovered about J6 with Anthony Fauci is a laugh riot. They are wasting your taxpayer dollars.
They are.
It's ridiculous. We need to be organizing now for 2024. That's what we are focused on as a group.
Who's going to indict him? That sheriff who just was with no law. You know, what's her name? Michelle Fiore, or maybe Sheriff Kevin Sorbo. I don't know. I mean, come on. So this is where we're at. This is what we do. We do research so that we know where to go. Deb is sending out postcards. Okay, there's the Supreme Court in Wisconsin.
They elect the Supreme Court by voting, not by appointment. So it happens to be a really important case for, women's rights and for the 2024 election in the state like Wisconsin. All right, where, there's one judge who is conservative who's not going to go back and run again. Now they're evenly divided. We want to get more liberal judges in there. So this is part of what you do. I don't live in Wisconsin. I live in Massachusetts. I didn't live in New Hampshire during the midterms, but I did postcard mailings to New Hampshire to help protect Maggie Hassan's Senate seat. And
right.
She was reelected. This is what you do, folks. This is what has to happen. We have a choice come 2024. I will tell you right now, I'm going to say it straight out. If they hold the House and take the Senate, game over. They will be full MAGA control. You know what? Do you want that, all of you? Are you willing to take that chance?
Tweet out if you don't want that.
Yeah. Tweet this if you think you want fascism. How's that? I can't.
Yeah, I know. That's what we got.
That's what we got. We'll see you for the long show, which will promise to be even more fun than this one. Later.